Oh, well, hello there. Matt's playing hella air instruments right now. A little bit of everything. Oh, but I'm Justin.
Matt Dubs.
And we are the Podcasting Dead, talking tonight about season 11. This would have been episode 13, I do believe.
Warlords.
Warlord. Man, I'm going to tell you what, I'm excited to talk about this one because this is probably one of the best episodes they've had in a very long time. I thought this one was awesome.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And can we just out the gate say Toby is a dick? I don't think Rick would like him very much.
No.
Piss off, Toby. Go over there with Daryl.
Stop it. Get a little spray bottle.
You're on my shit list. But man, I did not see that coming. They set that up so well from a writing standpoint of making it seem like he was pretending to be like the macho hype man, like ready to do this. And then as soon as a gun was pointed at his face, he was about to shit his pants. And I was like, oh, what a pansy. And then
he's like, bam!
Secret agent puss face.
I was a secret agent this whole time.
I mean, that was an awesome episode. The time jumps kind of messed with me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like Aaron runs out and then like we're back to all of this. And I'm like, where are we at now? But nonetheless, still a really good episode. I kind of felt bad for the Warlord guy. Did you?
Yeah. I mean, like when he was like clearly gonna like offer like, all right, like you guys, I don't trust you guys, like just get the fuck out, like you can leave your lives and please don't ever come back.
Right.
Like, hey, fair enough.
I mean, the guy had skulls on his shelf, so you know that
you know he wasn't messing.
Made me not feel as bad for him. But then like you said, I mean, once he kind of was gonna let them go, was like, you know what, you leave, don't ever come back. And then Secret Agent Toby Doucheface kills him.
Like, wow.
So I guess Negan had become a part of this community?
Apparently, that's what I got out of it.
At first, I really thought we were going to have another long, drawn-out conflict with a super religious group. And I was going to be like, man, how many of these do we have to have?
They've reanimated Pope's carcass.
Oh, yeah. Pope steps around. Like, I wouldn't have shocked me if he'd have been like, I learned from the great Pope. You ever heard of him?
He's the greatest villain of all time.
I've been trying to forget about him for weeks. But man, excuse me, it was a really good episode. And so I wonder what this means like with Aaron's standing with the Commonwealth. I mean, he was in good standing with them. And I mean, when
ain't no more.
Even Aaron got ready to rock, man. Took that mace and smashed dude in the face. I really think that he would have taken Toby. I like in my mind. I think Toby's probably better trained, being he's like ex-CIA or whatever. But like, I like to think that Aaron would have took that Mason.
But see, like, wasn't like they were saying like, hey, you know, but Toby was at one point like an assassin, but now like, he's like a super, like he loves helping, giving people second chances and finding people to come join.
I did.
Like, wait, I need you to kill you. It's like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
I thought, you son of a bitch. I did think that scene between him and Hornsby was a little weird when he's like, what does he ask him? Something about, do you value living? And sticks his finger in his whiskey. He's like,
you son of a bitch, I'm in.
That scene was a little weird, but we got
like, he should got like at least 2 knuckles deep, like
right, like 2 fingers, and
yeah.
Or just shoved his whole hand in his mouth. Just
I said I'll do it.
Like Jesus, man.
You didn't even, like I already said beforehand, I'll do this. You didn't need to do all this.
Kate Domingo says, hey guys, hey Kate, hope you're doing well. We've got Michael Myers saying hello, Michael, and the Appalachian American saying something I do not agree with. I kind of like Toby, and I think a person like him is necessary. I mean, but like he's killing people that like I agree that you need somebody who's not afraid to get their hands dirty, but I mean, he's definitely just like out killing people. I mean, a person like him, someone who's kicking people, innocent people off of rooftops.
Yeah.
When he's not even in a compromised or threatening position. Like he's
where's my guns?
He's got them all subdued. I don't think that we need, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Toby. I mean, the actor
I don't like your answer, so I'm just going to kick you off this cliff.
Do you know where them weapons are? No, I don't.
I really don't. I just reside here, and I had nothing to do with any of this.
I do find it interesting to find Negan in the situation that he's in, though, because he has certainly been on the other end of that, taking over communities and killing people's loved ones and all of that kind of, so I kind of feel like they were alluding to that as like they were dropping people off of that rooftop. Negan just kind of like, I've been that douchebag before. Let's see. Appalachian American defending his statement. Dude has been told to get a package and he must acquire the package no matter what.
I think there's at least some matter whats.
Yeah, right.
There's a line.
There's a few matter what's in there. I mean, like, okay, do you have to go around? So you're just going to pull a straight Simon and kill everyone in the building?
If they like clearly had no involvement and no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Draco says, what's going on with Negan? I think Negan had become a part of this community. We certainly know that the lady was, but
he finally had religious persecution and joined a cult.
Hey, but they're kind of friendly, except for their skull collecting leader, who's now dead. Did he remind anybody else of Merle?
I get a little Merle vibe.
Eternal Rex says, I hate Toby and he needs to die in this next episode. I like how this next episode is looking like a really, really good episode. I will tell you, man, I'm excited. Like, this episode got me. I was hooked. Like, I was into it, man. This is probably one of the better episodes I've seen in a long, long time.
It was a good episode.
It was. Michael Myers says the main characters are worse than Toby. Like, remember what Rick's group did to Saviors at the satellite outpost? I mean, yeah, but Toby wasn't told that this group, he doesn't know for sure of this group. I mean, yeah, you've got a point, but I mean, like with Rick's group, it was like he gets told the story of how this guy is being a tyrant and taking half their supplies and beat a 16-year-old to death with a baseball bat.
It was just hearsay, is pretty much.
Yeah, and it was like it was something Rick and them were doing to get themselves, to an advantage, but that so like with this, like, yeah, you think that these guys, so I don't know, you're right, Michael.
Similar, but there are some different circumstances, but I see what you're saying.
But I mean, I don't see Rick ever doing something like this. I don't see Rick tying up innocent people in the place that were just residents there and kicking them off of a roof. I wish Rick would just show up and be like, Toby!
Damn it, Toby!
Damn it, Toby! What are you doing?
If Toby, like, when he pointed his gun at Aaron, like, if it was empty, like, he would have known, like, it would have been slid back and the chamber exposed.
Yep. If you want to get technical, I guess what could have happened. Well, no, he was shooting one-handed the whole time, wasn't he?
I think so.
With a Desert Eagle on top of that. I mean, it could have been 357 Magnum, 44 or 50 of the only 3 rounds I'm aware they make that in. But like either way, like one hand in that thing wouldn't be ideal. But maybe he rode the slide stop or something and it didn't pop back. But you're right. I mean, you should certainly know like when your gun's unloaded. But thank God it was, or Aaron would be dead.
Aaron just fucked with his mace hand.
Pow!
Not today, Toby.
Take that, Toby. Rick be in the woods. Yeah, Toby. I hate you.
You dumb son of a bitch.
But no, I thought Father Gabriel, man, because we know Father Gabriel's a freaking savage. He's been shown that time and time again. But like when they come back in and that guy was dead on the floor and Gabriel was gone, I didn't even think anybody helped him. I just was like, yep, that's Father Gabriel.
Yeah.
We found him. He was crying on a church rock, begging for help. And now
he's he's mastered close quarters combat.
But that was cool to go back and see that it was. And how weird of a situation is that? Like Negan was Negan. He was the big baddie for 2 full seasons, and now he's the one
in a cult.
Rescue. Well, yeah, that too. I was the leader.
I got a few pamphlets from that Pope fella, and it really took really just resonated with me.
I don't see Negan and Pope getting along too well.
They both love bacon.
Eternal Wreck. The Zombie Commonwealth soldiers were cool to see. Not quite sure if we ever saw that in the comics. I don't think so, but it made me think about something. Do y'all remember back in, what was it, season 3 when they took the prison and they had all those riot gear zombies? Like Maggie was the one that figured out how to kill them by pulling the head back and stabbing them in the jaw. So it kind of reminded me of that. It'd have been cool if like they'd have kind of had a little
dressed up the zombies again
and had like them struggling, and Maggie's like, you got to pull the helmet back and stab them in the chin. Are you sitting Indian style in your chair?
Yeah,
I do that a lot too. Like right now I'm not, but
my hips are still a bit sore from today's escapades.
Matt had his first group sex encounter today, and it is taking him a while to recover.
The stirrups really make you achy.
No, we went for a hike today. First hike in a few months. Well, for me, I think you've been more recently than me.
Nothing as intensive as we've done.
Yeah, it was a good day, but man, my ankles are hurting, meaning it's time for some new hiking shoes.
My tiny legs.
My baby legs and my baby hips are hurting. We got down the mountain and Matt's like, my hips are hurting. The baby hips. But no, this episode really was. I like that I was actually kind of on the edge of my seat there. I mean, because I just don't feel like I've had that as much here lately with The Walking Dead.
I just kept going like, man, Toby, like, was that really necessary? Like, you get mouth fingered a drop of whiskey by Hornsby, and now you're back to doing your assassin crap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Honeybuster says, hey, genuine question. Why is there no podcasting dead for the new season of Fear? I'm finally getting caught up, and normally after each episode, when I catch up, I watch the podcast for that episode. Sad. It is, Honeybuster. Man. The problem is Matt here doesn't watch Fear. He actually is just in the last year or two gotten into The Walking Dead. JP and I's schedule never line up. Like right now, JP's at work. Like it never lines up that I can have JP on. And to be quite honest with you, solo live streams, I don't feel I'm entertaining enough to do those. Like I feel like I just run out of stuff to talk about. But if people
have something to bounce off of,
if people want solo Fear podcasts, I'll go back to doing them. I just need to know. So Honeybuster, if you want those, I'll give them to you. But yeah, that's the main reason why. Also, in other news, the Rick movies apparently have half the first movie shot already. They're just keeping it hush hush. Hallelujah. I'm ready for some
spilled the beans if he knows.
Elijah Wilson, Justin, Matt, what's up, bros? What's
now,
up,
Matt as an MAT, like a mat like you see at a door?
No, I think they're referring to Matty Dubs. You got to throw the dubs on the end of it, or Matt doesn't know.
Or at least a second T. I think I at least warrant 2 T's in Matt.
I had somebody real quick, not about the episode, but I had an old listener message me on Snapchat today and was like, something about, asking where JP was. He was like, I got on there, I hadn't listened in a while, and I'm like, who the hell is Matty Dubs? Like, he's motherfucking Matty Dubs.
Who isn't he?
Let's see. Michael Myers said, do you think the main group would have kept the governor alive if he switched places with Negan? I think the governor was a bit too unhinged.
Yeah, he would have eventually gotten out of control, and they would have had to snuff him out.
Like Negan definitely has done some awful. I mean, arguably worse than the governor in some regards. But Negan has shown he has a heart, and he's definitely had moments where he,
other than just like going for people's heads.
Let's see. No spoilers. I'm only 3 episodes into the new season of Fear, but it continues the high points of the last season and so much more. Are you talking about? Because I didn't think that came back until April. So how are you watching it now?
Tell me from the future.
That's
how he knows the films.
Oh man, yeah, and that's but Eternal Wreck, I agree with you, but there is a point there. It's Eternal Wreck saying that no, they couldn't have kept the governor alive because Michonne would have just wanted to kill him. But we kind of have that with Maggie and Negan as well. Only Michonne, she don't play him. Michonne probably would have just killed him. But no, so Matt, what was your takeaway? I mean, you think Hornsby's just headed down a dark path of deception and murder?
He's one to kind of bypass what the head honchos at Commonwealth want, and he's just getting a little power hungry.
Did I see it incorrectly? Tell me if I did. Did you see the previews for next week's?
I did. I know it was like Maggie and the gang were at that little compound, little apartheid building.
Huh. Yeah.
So I know Maggie and the gang are there. I just don't know what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, it almost looked like in the previews for next week's episode, it almost looked like Mercer was killing a Commonwealth soldier. But of course, it could have been spliced together, or I could have
It's
just looked away.
probably. I think I saw. At least I think it was Hornsby about 2,000 yards out with his snub nose revolver, just picking them off.
He'll be sitting like like 1,000 yards from from what you call
Both
it,
eyes open, not even
from Hilltop, just like
yeah.
Honey Buster. You said 7 episodes of season 7 of Fear are already out. Is that with like AMC Plus? Like you have to have that app that everyone tells me I need to get, but I
You have
never
to have the future time traveling machine.
I'm gonna tell you though, Negan really is like. So Matt, we've asked this.
Wait till you see when Negan makes out with Maggie. That's gonna blow his mind.
So I've asked this before, but I'm gonna ask it again. Who is your favorite character thus far? Like right now in the show?
Right now, as of to date, oh man, it's like none of them. It's kind of like how The Office was. Like there were some like really defining characters, but it's all kind of become kind of bland after like the main protagonist leaves.
I still like Aaron. I still
Aaron's
like
great.
Maggie and Negan. I like it. Lights up whenever Negan's on screen. As soon as Negan
When
was the
Pope,
one that had that kid, it was
when
awesome.
Pope was killed, I just don't know who to like anymore.
Matt is just so sad to see Pope go.
Without the V formations, I just don't know what to do.
Let's see. Elijah Wilson says, how in the F did Beta survive falling down an elevator shaft and the guy who got pushed by Aaron died? Inconsistencies all over the effing place. Yeah, I mean, maybe Beta was just bigger and had more muscle mass to absorb the shock. I'm totally not in the medical field and just trying to make excuses. Matt, you're in the medical field. I mean, should Beta have survived that elevator fall?
Yeah, I mean, depends on how he landed. I mean, blood and force traumas, they can really F you up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Beta could have landed different. Maybe we don't know.
Maybe there was a whole bunch of feather pillows at the bottom of that shaft.
Yeah, maybe there were a bunch of mattresses and pillows on top of that elevator shaft. Maybe
there were dead bodies down there from people getting constantly pushed down that cushioned his fall.
The elevator shaft is like, why do people keep pushing people into me?
We need to make this a lot safer. They got OSHA involved on that one.
But I mean, and that's obviously we're reaching here, but I mean, plot is really it. But also too, I mean, I would imagine the top of an elevator. I'm imagining he landed on an elevator. I'm hoping. I would feel like that would give a little more than concrete. When you hit concrete.
You don't. Yeah.
But Matt, did you see Toby doing what he did? Did you see that coming, or did you just think he really was a puss?
Man, I don't know. I mean, because if he was an assassin, it had to be a gimmick. Because once he saw an opportunity, man, he took it.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if that wasn't just an act.
Maybe just needed just a momentary distraction from our Pope influenced fella here. Like when Aaron and them were saying just let us go, man. It's like, what? What'd you do that for?
I felt like I was in the scene right there. The screen was moving. It was wild.
Like, what the hell just happened?
But I didn't. Oh no, she's okay. Never mind. You're talking about Honey Buster's talking about this. Okay, so the second season is what comes out in April. Okay, I was gonna say. Eternal Rex says, I can't wait to see when Lance Mischief gets him uncovered by Pamela. I think they're setting up for Lance to be the main villain for the last season. And also I thought Eternal Rex said something else, but that was Honey Buster.
Well, if it's anything like the real world, people up in the higher ranks of administration, they don't get reprimanded for doing bad stuff.
Oh yeah, don't reprimand me. Mercer versus Daryl. Who you think would have that, Matt? Aside from
Mercer.
You think Mercer would
Yeah.
crush Daryl?
Oh yeah.
So does that mean then that Mercer could beat Beta?
Um,
I mean, I know Daryl beat him mainly because it was environmental. If they would have just been like in a room, he might have
if they squared off like in a ring.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
think if it was lineup, I would say probably Beta strongest, Mercer second, Daryl weakest.
Rick would be like, "Hi, Daryl. That's what you get for almost getting me killed. You weak son bitch." I mean, I could barely beat you myself, but still.
I mean, I bet Daryl would give him a run for their money, but ultimately, I think they would squish him.
Oh yeah, Daryl's definitely a scrapper, but
He's got that stank on him too.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. Like Beta's like, Jesus, man, I dress up in dead people's skin.
You fucking stink, man. And that shit permeates. Don't touch me.
They never come at him full force because they're kind of staying back because Beta had his knife, was like,
yeah, stop.
That's something Rick would say too. Not only are you weak, but you stink, Daryl.
Why can't you be as strong as your stink?
I still love Matt's idea of at the very, if you've not watched The Office, this won't hold any water. But if you've seen The Office, you know why this would be funny. But I love Matt's idea of at the very end, like, I don't know, Daryl and Maggie are getting married and Rick comes to the wedding. Doesn't say much. It's like my kids grew up and married each other.
They could just replace the names of the Office characters with the Walking Dead characters, and it would work.
Quick little sidetrack. I mean, if you were gonna, Rick really wouldn't work as Michael. Dwight would be Daryl.
Yeah,
just obsessed. Dwight was obsessed with Michael the way Daryl's obsessed with Rick.
Angela would be Carol.
Maggie would be Pam.
Who would be Kevin?
Oh, who would be Kevin from The Walking Dead to The Office? Who would be Kevin? That is a good question.
Probably Elijah.
I was gonna say probably the guy with the sickles, which we did see. He's pretty nasty with a bow at the beginning.
Apparently now he's finally honed his parkour skills. Now he can shoot a bow,
and he's got the hots for Lydia.
Like,
now's your chance. You need an escort. It's a long walk. I'm just saying. Lydia, man, I really wish she would. It's just to the point where The Walking Dead. See, they've always had a large cast of characters, but the thing is like they killed off people. So like you always had new people coming in. You were saying goodbye to main characters. And then what they did was they brought in all these characters and then they didn't kill any of them. So now you've got so many characters running around and the plot doesn't really, the storytelling doesn't really do like Game of Thrones. It was okay. You had like 1,000 characters in Game of Thrones, but the episodes were filmed so that you kept up with them. And it's like with this one, you see Lydia a little bit here and there, and she was such a big part of it, back when she came out. And now you just kind of like, oh yeah, Lydia, I forgot about her.
And now with the Legend spinoffs, we know all who's going to live.
I'm telling you, interesting theory. I'll throw it out there now. I was going to do a specialty podcast about it, but when the hell do I have time for that? A listener commented on one of our videos from a week or two back and had a really, really good point. So when the Walking Dead comic ended, if you never read the comics, this doesn't really spoil anything. When the Walking Dead comics ended, like when those of us that were getting it every single week, what happened was like it always would show you previews of like the next few months covers of the issues, kind of like, just to give you a preview. And the last episode of The Walking Dead was not announced at all. Like in the last issue, like no one had a clue until that week that it was the last issue of The Walking Dead. You thought you were getting another one and it's the final issue. And you were like, what the hell? Those covers were all fake and meant to mislead you into thinking the comic was going to continue. What if because I mean, really the Daryl and Carol what if that's not really good? What if those spinoffs aren't going to happen? What if that is all just a ruse to get your guard down and thinking
just like my last girlfriend, very misleading
to make you think Daryl, Carol, Negan, and Maggie? Because like even reading like really think about how outrageous that is when you think about the Negan and Maggie spinoff show. Negan and Maggie together in New York City. Blah 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 blah. Like it honestly does sound a bit
And Rob Schneider too.
And Rob Schneider is a zombie. He once was a man. But it's interesting. It's interesting to think that those could be 100% out there just to mislead you. And then when Negan, Maggie, or Daryl or Carol die, you're like, oh my God. Let's see. It would be nice to have the Walking Dead comic. That's an adaptation of the show, but a what if in each issue, like if the bridge didn't hold. Oh yeah, it's a good point there. I've been reading the Walking Dead reissues. They're going back and reissuing every episode, but in color. It's pretty cool. But no, they could be just trying to mislead us. And speaking of which, because we're going to wrap this up a little early tonight, but they were talking. It was interesting to hear Maggie talk about Herschel, because when they were talking about letting that food rot, didn't that sound like such a Herschel thing to do?
Yeah.
Honey, we ain't gonna take. I don't do a good Herschel impression. I can do Daryl and Rick, which
we got that down.
I don't know how to do a Herschel impression, but I feel like Herschel would have just been like, I could see that, and I forgot what it was. They were developers. I don't know if they were trying to get the land, what it was, but they were acting. They were having
trying to
help them with ulterior motives and
in good faith.
It was good to hear just a story about Herschel, and but yeah, I just sounds like a Herschel thing to do. Henry versus Elijah. Oh my gosh, Henry is probably one of the most JP. My God, I mean, I didn't like Henry either. I thought he was a crap character, but like JP hated Henry. He said that Henry's head on the pike was the best thing he had ever seen. I think Elijah would whoop Henry. Henry sucked. He couldn't even keep a cool head on his shoulders. Henry sucks, man. I think that Elijah, even though Elijah really hasn't done much, I think Elijah would put the smack down on Henry.
Like, dude, you got the badass mask. Like, if you can't own it, don't wear it.
You've got like two badass / really stupid looking weapons that look like they came out of the Spirit Halloween store and badass mask. You better at least be the baddest mofo in that group. But alas, he wasn't. And I ain't saying he's a bad character, but I just don't feel like he's being kind of like Jesus. I feel like they set the bar so high for what to expect from that character, and now it's just kind of like, he's there. He's just
got a cool ass mask
and a tragic backstory. That's why up until the first how many episodes he didn't speak. I mean, I thought it would have been cool if he'd have like had his throat slit or something, and like he was mute, like he couldn't talk.
Yeah,
or something.
It's like, come on, man! Like you're wearing this for funsies,
right? You look, just because you ransacked the Spirit Halloween store and grabbed the coolest looking weapons and masks. But I think he would put the smack down on old Henry. But the problem then would be that Henry would run back to Carol and tell her that he whooped his ass. And then Carol would bake him some
stern talking.
After she caught that rat, she would take him some poisoned acorn cookies, stomp his ass. But no, I thought tonight's episode was awesome, man. This is what I want. I mean, I know you have to have some slower moments for character development and story, telling and all of that. But I mean, this is why we love The Walking Dead and got into it, was these edge of your seat episodes, like high intensity, like what's going to happen. Like now I'm super stoked for next week's episode. Have you seen it yet, Matt?
I have not.
Matt always watches.
Yeah, I try to stay ahead of the game.
Absolutely. What's up, Liquor Beaver, also known as, well, I don't know. Some people might not want their name said, but I'll say his name's Derek. Long-time listener, good friend of the podcast. And yeah, we got back hiking around.
We made good time today.
Yep. My legs are, my ankles are not too
tiny ankles.
My baby.
No, we paused. I think we had like 2 little snack breaks and got to the top, and then we got down pretty quick.
Yeah, it was we might have cheated and took the fire road back. Whatever. I felt that was worse than a damn trail at certain points.
It definitely was windier on that part of the trail.
Oh man, I thought I was going to get blown off a mountain by wind. Like it was
fierce.
a guy warned us. He was like, watch out when you go up there. It's like 45-mile-an-hour wind gust. It felt way more than 45 miles an hour at certain points.
See, and Justin, he's got a couple inches on me, so like he normally is like 100 or so yards ahead of me at any given moment. But like I think I kept up with you pretty good for a good while.
Yeah, you did. You did. I mean, yeah, there was a time or two where I stopped and looked back at you, and then there was also the time where I hid behind the giant rock to try and scare you when you walked by. But other than those times, I mean, I had a few reasons to slow down. But yeah, you did good. No, you've definitely come a long ways as a hiker.
Man, you just make it look easy.
I do. That's what I do. What about you versus Pete from season 5? Refresh my memory. Who was Pete and who versus Pete? Myself or Matt, or both of us versus Pete?
Listen, if you put me out in the post-apocalypse, I'm just giving up and dying.
Was Pete Jesse's alcoholic husband, the doctor?
I'm Googling it.
I mean, because if so, he seemed pretty tall, man. He probably got some reach on him. It depends on how drunk he was. Like if he was shit-faced drunk, I think I could have taken him, but
Pete Anderson is a surgeon resident of the Alexandria safe zone, along with his wife, Jessie, and his 2 sons, Ron and Sam. He was the primary antagonist for second half of season 5.
Yeah. I do you think Leah could take on Maggie? I don't know, man. Maggie's pretty savage. Let's see. What was one I was going to throw up there before we sign off here? I want to see Daryl kick Sebastian's ass, which is funny because we see like a scene from next week's episode where Daryl's like walking through a building and Sebastian is like gives the head nod.
So,
Matt, do you ever do head nods? Random question, and then we're going. When you see somebody do you do down head nods or up head nods?
Usually down. In passing, but if it's someone like, hey, what's up, buddy?
If it's somebody I know pretty well, I'll do the head.
If you're acquaintance plus, you get this. If like I know you, or if I'm acknowledging you, then you get the head down.
If it's like Farmer Joe on the way out of Walmart, some stranger you don't know that's just like acknowledging your presence. It's
the white guy, the little
howdy. Howdy. But then when you see somebody you're like, what up?
And if it's someone that I really know, I'll go, ma'am.
I'm gonna tell you, when Matt goes grocery shopping, one time my girlfriend and I were in a chip aisle or something, and Matt like legit walks right by us. It's like looking for some shit, and we're like, does he not see us or is he pissed at us? And then finally I'm like, hello.
I remember that was a shitty work day. Like I just wanted to find my shit and get home and cry to my pillow girlfriend.
I almost wonder if Lance will get the Sebastian moment. They focused in on him a lot. Yeah, I thought the same thing, man. It definitely looks like for comic readers that Lance might be taken. But the question is, who will Lance shoot? It's going to be like a Who Shot JR, only reverse. Who's going to shoot
Mr. Burns?
That's what I want to know is who is gonna get that tragic comic death that all of us comic readers are just dreading. It's got to be somebody big, man. If it's somebody like, it could be, but if it's somebody like Elijah, just like man, don't. I've seen so many opportunities to take people out in meaningful and impactful ways, and instead it's just like, oh, remember this one character that showed up like one episode 3 seasons ago?
No,
they're gonna die, and then everyone's gonna be really upset about it.
Oh no. Anyways,
it's like when Simon killed that guy in the back seat of the car with when it was back in the Negan saga, when it was like Maggie, Jesus, who was it in the back seat? It was Maggie, Jesus, some guy I'd never seen before, and then somebody else. But then Simon kills that one guy, and then like we're supposed to be all upset about it. I'm like, I've literally never seen him before. Kill someone important, Walking Dead. But solid episode. Let's do we rate these? We don't normally rate.
We don't normally rate, like when we did the retro reviews, we do.
Speaking of which, if you want to go back from the beginning, because we only started this podcast in season 6. So if you want to go back to the beginning, we do have a retro Walking Dead podcast now on the channel. It's on SoundCloud and iTunes and Spotify as well. But of course, there's only a certain amount that they can hold, so they kind of get rotated out.
Recycled, yeah.
On the YouTube channel, you can go back to, but we've just wrapped up season 1, and we're getting ready to head into season 2, and we do that with a friend of ours named Jesse, and it's a really fun podcast, and it's really interesting because Jesse is watching The Walking Dead for the very first time, whereas Matt and I have already seen it, so it makes for a really interesting conversation. So
I try to join those ones when I can.
Yeah, it's always fun. I enjoy the retro podcast. It gives me a reason to go back through and watch it too.
I think we need a Vatos spinoff as well. It's like after doing the season 1 recap, like we got to bring back the Vatos. Whatever happened to those guys?
Sadly,
they did.
They did. They died. In the most honorable way. They probably died saving the elderly, but they died.
They did.
That means that Felipe's grandmother is probably dead too.
But he was such a good boy.
He has his troubles, but he pulled himself together. We need him here.
No.
But anyways, thanks so much for joining the live stream. Thanks so much for chatting with us. We will see you next Sunday. Matt, will you be back next Sunday?
That's the plan.
No, I need a yes. Just go ahead and say yes.
I never commit. I'm afraid of a commitment. I'll be there.
Yes.
You have my word.
You guys will be getting Matt's phone number and address if he doesn't show up. And you can go make it right.
No one ever calls me anyways.
Be like, I mean, I know people are threatening me, but this is nice. I feel wanted.
It's nice to feel wanted. Even if it's like my death is wanted.
Even if they're just wanting to kill me, it's nice. But that's going to wrap it up for this live stream. We will be back next Sunday with more Walking Dead discussion. I'm Justin.
Matt Dibbs.
That was beautiful. And with a podcasting dead, everyone have a wonderful